Hi.
Hi.
How are you?
I don't know.
So, I asked you if we could record our conversation because you made a comment that I thought was really interesting, and I wanted to give you, excuse me, a little bit more education as to why that's kind of wrong thinking. So, do you remember what the comment was that you made?
Alcoholics really just need willpower.
Okay, I can understand why your thought process would be that way, right? Because they're choosing to go to the bar and get drunk, or they're choosing to indulge in one alcoholic beverage. They put themselves in situations and in places where it would appear that all they need to do is just make better choices. Is that what you're saying?
Basically.
Okay, what if I told you that there's actually something to combat that's actually not fully accurate?
I'm open to that.
Okay, so do you know what the criteria is for somebody who has a mental illness?
No.
Okay, I'm gonna talk to you about that. I'm gonna educate you a little bit about that. So the DSM, according to the DSM, which is a guide for people in the medical field and also in the field that I'm currently in, to kind of see where people fall as far as disabilities, mental illness, what kind of services they may need, how to kind of meet them where they're at to help them get the services that they need as a MRT, which is somebody that can help them with housing, it can help them with counseling, it can help them with a whole bunch of different things. Okay, so according to the DSM, there's 7 criteria for somebody who has a mental illness. Okay, and one of the criteria that, when you made that statement, made me think that I wanted to give you a better education, was that it says a behavior or a psychological syndrome or pattern that occurs in an individual. So, for example, somebody that drinking that causes repeated social problems, or drinking that the person can't stop when they want to, or drinking that takes up the whole day, every day. So it's like saying, okay, you have diabetes, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like saying if you just had willpower, right, you wouldn't have diabetes anymore. Your sugars wouldn't be high, they wouldn't be low, they wouldn't be in a position where they're fluctuating. You wouldn't drop, or they wouldn't be super high that would affect your mood or any of the other choices that you make. Somebody that has an SUD, or specifically somebody that is an alcoholic, they don't necessarily get to choose. Yes, they can choose the environments that they're in, but they don't necessarily get to choose the choices that make the choices needed to not struggle with that. Do you understand what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So somebody that has diabetes or somebody that has asthma, they're going to have flare-ups of that. Mm-hmm. It's the same with somebody that is an alcoholic or that struggles with an SUD, which is a substance abuse disorder. They're constantly going to struggle with that for the rest of their life. What we need to do is get the education out there to help facilitate a thought process that's not shameful, that's not about this is your choice, but that's about, okay, this is a disease and this is a disability that we need to figure out how to get ahead of, to teach people or help them cope with the struggles that they're having. Does that make sense to you?
I hear you.
Okay, not fully convinced, and that's
No.
okay. We'll get there. So another one of the criteria is the consequences of which are clinically significant distress, impairment in one or more areas of functioning. So, for example, an alcoholic, right? If they just have willpower, they just need to have willpower. Why are they getting drunk before an event that would mean something to them? Why would they purposefully choose to struggle with alcoholism, knowing that it's going to affect their job, it's going to affect their family, it's going to affect them? Your diabetes, the onset of your diabetes affects you, and you don't get to control when or how that happens, right?
That's correct.
Okay, so you don't get to control waking up at 2 a.m. with low blood sugar.
For the most part, no.
Right, you have to get up, and then from there you have to go get juice and then follow it up with a protein. You can control sometimes by your environment what you're putting into your body that would cause it to go high, correct?
Mm-hmm.
But did you choose to have an issue with your pancreas that would make it so that it didn't work properly, so that you would need to have insulin or struggle with diabetes?
No, not the pancreas, no.
not the pancreas, right. Some people, science is there's scientific studies being shown right now that it's actually a genetic thing, that people are predestined to have these disorders.
Mm-hmm.
So it wouldn't matter what their choices were, they would still be struggling with this disorder, correct? Or disease.
Possibly.
Same with any other disease that we inherit, like it's been said that we can inherit freckle, like if your family has freckles or whatever, or balding, or diabetes, or a number of other things that you can get from your genetics. Cancer, family members have all kinds of different cancers in their family that have been passed down. My grandfather died of lung cancer. Before that, his mother died of ovarian cancer. Before that, her mother died of cancer. Nobody chooses to have cancer, right? And it's a deadly disease that without the right treatment, and even with the right treatment, sometimes people can't function. The same is so for somebody that's an alcoholic. Why? It's silly to me to assume that it's a willpower thing or that it's a choice, because it affects not only just them but the people around them. And to say that they're choosing to have this is also saying that they're choosing to hurt you indirectly, to hurt their family indirectly, to not be able to hold down a job, to not be able to be effective and live a happy and meaningful life, healthy, and have healthy and meaningful relationships, right?
Yeah.
So who would choose that? Who would say, if I just had the willpower?
I think the willpower would only come with the support.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to probably do it on their own. I never said that.
But what do people? So there are lots of people that don't have support. Take a look around in the homeless shelters, and in the shelters around.
Yeah.
There's an epidemic out there, and we as a society have this thinking that, quite honestly, isn't accurate. That it's a choice, or that it's a lack of willpower to get better. And sometimes it's resources, sometimes it's support, sometimes it's struggle, sometimes it's environmental and choice. Yeah, okay, well, this person knew that if they went and did this, then this was going to happen. Okay, but that's not the crux of the issue. The crux of the issue is the underlying disorder, which is alcoholism, which meets the criteria of the mental health.
I hear you.
So will you consider that as you...
Oh, I consider everything you said, but
Okay.
not 100%.
That's okay. We'll get there. Thank you.
You're welcome.